What's good? It's your boy Dre, also known as Mr. Po Folk Everything, and today I'm back with another one. So today we're gonna finish up the drivetrain for Project Chance. We finished up the motor, so now we need to figure out what transmission we're gonna be running. As you can see, we got multiple transmissions to choose from. In the front, we got a rebuilt TH400. It hasn't even had fluid in it since the rebuild. Behind it, we got a 700R4 that we could use. It maybe has 5,000 miles on its rebuild. Back there in the corner, we got a 4L60. But this is the one we're looking for right here. You know, they always say, work smarter, not harder. So we gotta get that transmission from all the way over there, all the way up back over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump in the Silverado, throw that transmission in the bed, and bring it over here to the garage. So this is the transmission that we will be using. Nothing fancy, just a stock unit with a shift kit. Alright, so I got the transmission here and I'm about to go ahead and mate it to the engine. But first I need to install the torque converter. I'm not going to show installing the torque converter because everybody does it different. And if you install it incorrectly and mess up your transmission, you're not going to blame me. There's a million videos on YouTube showing how to install a torque converter or your transmission onto your LS-based engine in general. So you can look those up and do whatever you want with that information. All right, can you see that? I just wanted to point out that, as you can see, I have a flat flex plate. Reason being is this is a early model LQ4 with a long crank. It came out of a 2000 Silverado 2500. So because it has a long crank, I do not need a spacer in order to use a older model transmission. Okay, so I just want to share something with all these newcomers. When you are bolting up a older transmission to a LS-based engine, and you will not be utilizing all of the bolting holes. So in my case, I'm using a TH350, and you will only be using 5 of the 7 mounting holes. Reason being is because your older transmissions do not have a top mounting hole. So your TH350s, your 400s, your 700 R4s, your 200 metrics, your power glides, they do not have this top bolt. So you will not be using that. And then also the LS engine, well, the LS based engine, for all those people who want to be correct, does not have a bolt hole in this position here. So you will not be using that. So you would only be using 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the bolt holes. All right, so we got the transmission bolted to the engine, and we got our bell housing bolts torqued down. We also got the converter bolted to the flex plate, and we got those bolts torqued down. Now, when you're installing your transmission to your engine and you want to bolt up your converter to your flex plate, make sure that you check the gap in between your converter and your flex plate and adjust accordingly so that you don't mess up either the pump or the transmission or the thrust bearing for your crank. And what I mean by that is if you look at the converter to the flex plate, I had to shim it and use some washers in between the torque converter pad and the flex plate to give us the correct gap that we needed. All right, so now we need to install the engine mounts. We'll be using these mounts here. We have this spacer plate that you will be putting on first, and then you have this spacer plate and these 4.6 style mounts that we'll be using because we are using the stock K member. So I got the mounts installed on both sides. That's the orientation that they go in. So as far as engine and transmission go, everything is done and ready to go and be installed. Only thing I got to do is remove these stock exhaust manifolds because they will not fit in the Fox body with a stock K member. Other than that, the only thing we got to do is a couple things on the car side of it, and then it'll be ready to be installed. All right, so in the Mustang, we are not going to be running heat or AC. So I've seen a couple of guys where they take and heat this up, take a pair of vice grips and twist this out, and then they tap it and put a plug in it because they're not going to be running any heat. So since we aren't going to be running heat either, I think I'm going to go ahead and try that. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work and I have to put a different water pump on it, which I have another water pump somewhere around here. So let me go ahead and try to do that. All right, so as you can see, I got it out. So what I did was I took and I heated it up. And then I took the hammer and I tapped on it until I started seeing it separate. And once I seen it separate, I took the channel locks and I put the channel locks on her and started wiggling it until it came out. So I'm gonna show y'all exactly how I did it with this last one. All right, so I'm gonna heat it up. All right, so I don't know if y'all can see that, but you see how it just started to separate? See how it's starting to separate right there? So now I'll put the channel locks on it and then wiggle it out. And there you go. So now all we gotta do is tap them and put plugs in it. All right, so let's remove this thermostat housing. To have a set of taps. But for those of you who need to go online and order some so that you're able to do this, I'm gonna let you know what size you need. So you're gonna need a 3/8 and you're gonna need a 1/2 inch. So this one is 3/8 NPT by 18. That is gonna fit in this one. And then you're gonna need a 1/2 inch NPT by 14. And that's gonna fit in that one. Now, when you're doing this, you wanna make sure that you keep these as straight as possible. And when you're doing this, you want to go back and forth. You don't want to do too much too fast. You want to go back and forth. You want to do a little, cut some threads, and then you want to back it out to get some of that material out of the threads. All right, so we finished, and now we have threads. So, when you're tapping this, it's only gonna go in so far. Once it stops and bottoms out, you're done. just go ahead and back it out and then clean it up on the inside. Don't try to force it and make it go all the way in, because you could crack the water pump housing or break your tap off. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do this side off camera, because I already showed you how to do this one. So there's no need for me to do the other one. I'm gonna do this one off camera and get back. All right, as you can see, we've now finished with that hole right there. We have successfully finished and tapped that hole. All right, so I got the plugs installed. As you can see, this one's in flush, but this one is not. I guess when I tapped it a little crooked. So it went in there at an angle. As you can see, it's only got a thread left right here, but under the bottom it has two. So we're gonna run it like that. We're gonna see if it seals up or not.